Today it's time for a best of 5 series of top level StarCraft 2. It's time for a Terran versus Zerg. We're in the bottom right hand corner playing in red. We're looking inside of the main base of ByuN. And all the way in the upper left, playing with the blue Zerg pieces, we have Solar. Two very strong players in competitive StarCraft 2. I was just gonna bring up that ByuN... Wait a second. ByuN has been a command center enjoyer, but the timing of this particular SCV... I mean, it's too early for an SCV scout. Are we gonna send another one? Yup, we are gonna send another one. This particular SCV scout indicates he wants to go for a proxy Rex. Even though ByuN has been making a lot of command centers, this dude has been making more command centers than any other Terran under the sun, other than maybe Cure. That series of Cure versus Rogue comes to mind that they played just a couple days ago, but this is going to be a slightly spicier start. Let's see. Solar is very likely to open up with a hatchery first. It's what he does pretty much all the time anyways. And yeah, he has no clue that this is happening right outside of his base. So hatchery first, double proxy barracks. Are we going to send a third one as well? Does not appear to be the case. Obviously, this is one of those builds that's technically also a little bit stronger, because you can follow it up with another command center significantly quicker. So I'm actually curious to see how this plays out, right? So we've seen a triple Rex variant quite a bit. That one I think is mostly unchanged because there's really no follow-up plan. Your all-in is as all-in as it's really going to be. But this is going to allow him to pump out Marines and then still get a command center at 300 minerals reasonably quickly on the back of this. Obviously, he still needs to get value, right? Because if you have to fly those barracks back home, that would be a disaster. I think ByuN's very first goal will be to try and obtain the victory. But if it doesn't work out, you can always make a command center. All right, double Marine production has kicked in. Overlord did not quite fly far enough. Are we going to go for a bunker? We will go for a bunker. Are we going to go double bunker? Maybe a little bit expensive. Nah, not quite the case. Okay, Solar has decided to pull the boys. His spawning pool is not yet done. He's probably going to target fire down both the SCV that's building as well as the bunker itself. Yeah, that's usually what Zerg players do. But this is already so much lost mining time. Marine count at this point is growing. Zerglings, though, are coming up. He still manages to put down a bunker right before the creep can spread all the way. One of the issues is if you're fully spread, it's very difficult to get within range of the actual hatchery itself with Marines inside of the bunker. But this is okay. A couple Zerglings right now are spawning, though. The problem for Zerg now is that both of the SCVs are still alive. He needs to get rid of those if that bunker is to, well, get shut down. Instead, he wants to kill the Marines. Instead, he wants to, get these Marines stuck up against the ramp. Does not quite get the correct hit. Both of the SCVs, though, did die. Bunker is about 99% of the way done, but it does not matter. Solar has already lost too many drones. So game number 1 goes in favor of ByuN. That was spicy. That was very aggressive. You know what you should do, ByuN? I think I speak for thousands of people out there. I think you need to go and do it again. just go and do it again. Even though that was on a razor's edge, and it was very, very close to getting shut down, right? We're on a 2-player map. This is lockdown. Oh my god. No. No. Dang it. It's just a good old low ground depot. I thought for a second this one was also going to go across the map. You can certainly build some nice proxy barracks right over here, for example. There's a bunch of good spots. This is going to be a low ground wall instead. Probably indicates he wants to make 2 barracks yet again. Very likely, though, with Reapers this time around. Alternative choice is just to use the low ground for a wall. Get a barracks going over here and then eventually finish the wall with a factory. Couple different alternative options. Is this going to now force a bit of a different build here from Solar? He's already up to 16 workers. I think this is a pool first now. Yeah. Usually with a hatchery first, with the new patch, you go for a 15 hatch. It's a little bit safer, of course, to go for the pool, but yeah. Now I really would have liked to see it. Pool first versus double proxy Rex is always interesting, right? Like when you have a counter cheese versus a cheese, doesn't necessarily mean that you're immediately dead as the Terran player in that particular regard. But anyways, this is going to be a double barracks at home. So we're still making Rexes. But this time around, they're going to be far across the map here. At least compared to where they previously were. I'm really interested to see if ByuN is going to maybe pull off some of those builds that we saw Clem go for against Serral the other day? So Clem had a really interesting Terran Mech build that really only seems to be viable because of the new patch. And, I mean, spoiler alert for my own series that I covered a few days ago, that build absolutely destroyed Serral. It's not really a strategy that we see all too often. Terran Mech in general is not super popular. I don't believe we're going to be seeing it here because he's already made 2 barracks. Plus his name is ByuN. Not really a mech Terran in general, but yeah, this is a very, pretty much guaranteed, I would say, bio-Terran follow-up right now, because transitioning away is just quite expensive, and you've already invested 300 minerals right now into getting a bunch of barracks down. We'll probably have a command center, though, in just a moment. Reapers are going to be top priority for the time being, and what's really nice here for the Zerg is that you already have that pool done, right? So your Zerglings are going to be out at a reasonable time. At this point, of course, ByuN will see exactly what's going on too. You may assume here that because the pool is faster, Zergling speed will also be quicker, but that's usually not the case. So usually what you do if you go hatch first is you go hatch into gas into pool, but this is now pool into hatch into gas. Relatively speaking, the gas is not super quick. So it's quite difficult, actually, for Solar to now grab a 3rd base. As a matter of fact, that's usually your main bottleneck. Ooh, this is nice. Get yourself a little creep tumor. Yeah. Can we go home? Can we go home? Yep, we can go home. So this is one of the downsides, right? Like, yeah, the pool first, it feels kind of safe. And it is definitely safer against some strategies out there. But it's usually still not the preferred goal. So since this was a pool first, ByuN is not going to be too aggressive. He doesn't really know exactly when link speed finishes up. One of the problems is that on a lot of these maps, the actual gases are pretty deep into the Zerg base. So he would have to go pretty far in just to be able to see the timing at which that Vespian gas geyser is taken. So he's decided to not really take any chances. Because if link speed would finish up super early, well, you're suddenly dealing with a lot of links that are going to be knocking at your front door. Your Reapers are going to be dead. You need Hellions as a follow-up, but now you've gone for the low ground. If you want to go into, I don't know, a Hellion swap over with the reactor, you would have to fly the factory down, lift off the barracks. Obviously, if there's Zerglings hitting away at your wall, that's not really something you can do. So the safer choice is just to send the Reapers back home, which is now allowing the Zerg, though, to take a 3rd hatch pretty quickly. So some small mind games going on already, because Solar took this long before link speed was done. It's because ByuN had the mutual respect, apparently, of assuming at the very least there was a chance that link speed would be done earlier than he would have liked. So it's a triple command center follow-up right now here for the Terran. And, this is kind of weird, right? So it's a double barracks opener into a 2-1-1. So double barracks into 1 factory, 1 starport. The assumption that you usually make is that medevacs are going to be followed with Marines, right? Like, those are the units you make together. This is now Marines skipping Hellions into Banshees. It's very likely that this is the last thing, though, that Solar is gonna assume. And if Solar goes for both a delayed lair as well as a spore crawler skip, Banshees can actually put in a ton of work. ByuN, though, not going into the cloaking upgrade here for the Banshee. I think he's just gonna make 1 of them. I would have really liked to see him double down, actually. I think it's a pretty cool style, but Overlord is not quite gonna see the Banshee moving out. And he can still dance and potentially get some work in. Lair right now coming up. Look at this. Solar indeed not going for any spore crawlers. So he's got 3 mineral lines. Okay, he adds 1 right now, but this is actually an anti-liberator positioning. This is time to counter a liberator, not so much a Banshee. So I think the Banshees could have been quite nice. He would have very likely skipped at least 1 in the natural. Right now, though, they're starting up. Yeah. ByuN could have committed a little bit harder, I think, to this, and it would have worked out better. Instead, well, we still get a bit of value. But now you do delay your own medevac follow-up quite a bit. Alright, they are still going to be coming out. Marines, though, will go on a little adventure without any sort of healing. Combat shields now following the stimp pack. +1/+1 as well coming up. So I don't think you really want to throw these units away, but just forcing the Zerg to make a lot of army here is already pretty good for ByuN. Is he going to just go around to... Ooh, that's cute as well. Is he just going to go around and force? No, he's not. He's stimming through. A little bit risky. I think he's probably just going to engage and pick up whenever he needs to. Oh, getting a council in this base would be massive. Look at the Banshee joining in as well. Queen's trying to target fire down the medevacs. Banshee is going to get hit, but the Banelings will not get close. Still, this is a phenomenal start right here for ByuN. You can really not hope for much more. Losing the Banshee sucks, but delaying the Zerg's 4th base and then getting this many creep tumors as well, and maybe a secondary console. Wow. Yeah, that's really good. Suddenly, momentum heavily shifts in ByuN's favor, and this is when Terran Bio is just really good. When you're playing mech, it's really difficult to just keep pushing, but with Bio, that momentum is awesome, right? I mean, look at the upgrades now lined up as well to finish very soon. He's going to be able to go for another attack. 1-1 and combat shields finishing up right around the same time. There's going to be a lot of Marines as well, ready to go for a bit of reinforcing. Still though, he's fighting for now with the units that he's got. Squeezing them in between this little area. Lifts up a little later than I think you would have ideally liked to see. But this has still been a really nice start. And now apparently ByuN is just bullying. Yeah, we are just picking off whatever we can. Close your eyes, Zerg players. Because I think this is going to hurt. Yeah, it's not the end of the world though here for Solar, right? Like, yeah, he's been slowed down a lot. But Solar is a world-class Zerg. He will know how to proceed, and he's actually getting another base going really far forward. Usually you take this. This is a curious one. I wonder if Solar just wants to be very aggressive moving forward. He is still going to have Hydraling Bane. Obviously, you have to be careful against Speedy Banes especially. You're always just one little hit away from losing your entire Terran army. Second factory coming up right now at front, and I'm assuming a 4th command center. Could have made, well, a 4th and a 5th almost. We've got the money. Okay. We'll undoubtedly see one here, yeah, in just a moment. Bit later than you really need it. I think this is Terran's getting used to the cost. Anyways, Solar has got this base over here. Distraction as well with a Marine squad over on the right. And then we have, boom, hatchery at the front getting the Knight. Excellent movement here by ByuN. Jimmy. Nicely done, Jim. Jimmy, no! Okay. Whew. Thought he was going to get eaten by dogs. So, last way you want to go. Probably hurts. No med effects. Not even your friends. But at least you got a creep tumor kill. Okay. So, what is Solar's game plan going to be? Well, he's got a good amount of economy still. He hasn't really lost a tremendous amount of units. He's just been slowed down a lot, right? So, Solar is a big fan of playing Lurkers. Lurkers really are like the momentum killer, right? Like, if Lurkers are out, it's very difficult for Terran to keep pushing. Oh, look at him. ByuN is feeling it, man. He's dancing with the Banes. He unloaded a Marine on top of a Baneling too. I do hate to break this to the Marines out there, but it's a cost-effective trade to drop a Marine onto a Baneling. Baneling's costing 50 minerals and 25 gas, and Marines just costing 50. Yeah, we are indeed going Lurkers. So I think that's probably the best chance that you have right here. Unsieging the tanks. Should be able to pick them up. Oh, no. Forgot picking up one of them. Almost went back and then lost the full medevac group. Not ideal. Right now, though, Solar's ready to go for a push. And keep in mind that Solar really, he's been slowed down, but he hasn't lost much. He still has now a 5th base done. Hive coming up. It's all a little bit later than you ideally want to. But this is certainly a very playable position here as well for the Zerg. And ByuN, I don't mean this with any disrespect, but sometimes ByuN gets a little bit tunnel visioned in games like this, I think, where he's like styling a little bit. You can tell that he's feeling good. Sometimes he gets a bit tunnel visioned and he gets carried away with one particular attack. It's one of the problems when you micro so heavily, right? You just kind of have to keep your screen on the units you're trying to control. And that's exactly when Solar can indeed get the potential comeback. Okay, Hive now done. Seismic Spines, Adrenal Glands, all of it coming up. Burrow and +2 also on the production. So let's see. That's one command center down. We have another command center over here. It's very likely to fall. And this is just so many links. Yeah, and we don't have the perfect spending here for the Terran. So suddenly, Planetary Fortress goes down. 2 command centers that we're building here also ended up falling. ByuN wants to try and see if he can cut these units off now that there's no more Banelings with this particular army. He's going to test the waters for just a moment. But the macro has been taking a little bit less of a priority here for ByuN. And because of that, he pays the price. 14 SCVs die. New command center. Zerg command center, that is, in the upper left. Yeah. So you build up, right? That's one of the really difficult things about StarCraft 2 in general. You build up an advantage, and then within about a split second, your opponent can seemingly snatch it away. It's the multitasking that's so difficult. Staying up to date with all the things while also simultaneously pushing, macroing. Yeah, that's why having 1 million actions per minute is really helpful. Ah, massive blinding cloud as well. Here we go again. Solar trying to engage. Not all the siege tanks are sieged up for some reason. The ones that were ended up getting sniped immediately, and Solar is striking back. Adrenal Glands isn't even done yet. He hasn't even built a lurker yet. That's how I thought he was going to try and strike back, but he doesn't even seem to need it right now. ByuN trying to aggressively rally more and more units across the map, but man, this did really go about as perfectly for Solar as you could hope for. He's going to dash away right now. Get those Hydras back to safety. And it's lurker time now. ByuN has not really made the transition yet towards a lot of Liberators. He has not really made the transition yet towards Ghosts. As a matter of fact, he hasn't even built a Ghost Academy. We're just on a single starport as well. He wants to add on Vikings right now to try and counter the Vipers, but he really needs something to counter these units instead. Okay, he does knock down the rocks, makes it a little bit more difficult. New 4th command center is coming up. Orbital command this time around. That's pretty darn greedy as well here for ByuN. Lurkers are within range of the structure though. Liberators are getting targeted down. Lots of SCVs. Not rallied in the right direction. They were all trying to go for the mass repair on the command center. Command center could have just lifted off and ran away. Instead, the SCVs sacrificed themselves. Now units are misrallied as well. And while this game started off brilliantly for ByuN, when Solar started attacking, he never gave up. Old Sun Temple. A 4-player map. Sadly, that means that it's quite difficult to go for any sort of cheesing. Yeah, you could still go ahead and, you know, plant a bunch of barracks right around the Zelnaga Tower. And then I guess it's an equal distance to the bottom right, to the upper left, and also to the top right. Yeah, maybe not ideal. Although, we're doing it. Wait, are we doing it? Where are we gonna proxy? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I believe on this map, vertical spawn locations are disabled. So what ByuN is doing is he's just sending them right over here to be as close to the top right as well as the bottom right. So this seems a little bit weird, because what if the opponent would have spawned in the upper left? But even though this is a map with 4 spawn locations, when you load in on the Old Sun Temple, it shows a little blinky icon on the minimap with potential spawn locations where your opponent could be. And this happens to be just about the perfect location here for the upper right-hand corner in particular. Solar is scouting with an Overlord in this direction. Where's it going? I'm not really sure. Is it just sent? Ah, okay. It's sent right over here to the Terran's Natural, so I think he should be able to stumble upon this. But already, barracks number 1 will be done. It's a hatch into a pool, so no link speed or anything along those lines. SCV number 1 gets seen right now by Solar. I think it's already a little bit too late. It's already a little bit too late to go ahead and send the boys. Bunker? Yeah, conservative bunker, I guess. Yeah, Solar's scouting around. He's like, wait a second, what's going on right now? Ah, dang it! Getting flashbacks to game number 1, I suppose. Do we send more of the boys? Because I don't think 3 is gonna cut it. Yep, there we go. More of the lads from the main base are going down. No gas, by the way, which is actually kind of good. I really like that he did not get any gas going here, because either it's link speed or it's not link speed. You have nothing for 50 gas, or, I don't know, half finished upgrades. It's not really going to do you very much. The drones are going deep, though. Yeah, he wants to finish this off before it effectively lays eggs. Sorry about that, Jimmy. You got nibbled away at by a bunch of guys that look like, I don't know, dinosaurs. Weird-looking crustaceans. Man, this is 7 drones already. I don't want to be a hater, but I think this is already pretty much game over. Because 7 drones before really the fight begins is really bad. Only 2 Marines fell. 2 Marines and 1 SCV died. ByuN can keep sending this. He's getting a gas geyser at home right now. Oh, you can make Marines. A couple SCVs. At some point, you'll stumble upon enough resources for either a factory or, for example, a command center. I think this is not a bad spot right now for ByuN. Solar trying to be a bit cheeky, squeezing out drones. I wonder if maybe a spine crawler or something would be a better safety precaution, but since he lost so much, he's just trying to be greedy right now and potentially catch back up. Yeah. Zergling is scouting. He doesn't really want to do it with an Overlord. He knows how likely it is that the Overlord is going to die, and Overlords feel particularly expensive in this economy. Gas right now coming. Command center in the meantime inside of the main base right here of ByuN. Enough gas right now for a factory. Creep Tumor gets sniped as well. Yeah, this is pain right here for Solar. Solar's trying his best, but these Marines are awfully slippery. Brenda is getting a bunch of kills in, but any unit that you produce right now as Solar means that you do not have drones. And the men with gun, they're very good. GG. Couldn't help but notice that on the loading screen of this particular game, unlike the previous ones, Solar switched to the ByuN portrait. It's the one where ByuN is the world champion of StarCraft 2 and he's hugging the trophy. A little bit of shenanigans here by the Zerg. You'll love to see it. Okay, ByuN, suggestion. Let's go ahead and send an SCV across. Oh, too late. We're not gonna send the SCV across the map this time around. Sad days. Yeah. So he does it on a 4-player map, but not on one where you know where your opponent is guaranteed. Honestly, game number 2 went really well as well for the Terran. Ultimately, though, he got a little bit carried away, I think. And then Solar managed to strike back. I gotta say, I'm not really too impressed by Solar's early game defense. I mean, it just didn't really go too well. It's one of those things, right? Like, you send the drones like that, and you see other players do it, and they don't really lose a whole lot. But Solar losing 7 workers there before the fight even really begins is absolutely atrocious. At minute 4 or so, or whatever it was, right? Like, that's about as bad as it's ever going to be. So, yeah, I don't know if he just needs to maybe work on the early game shenanigans a little bit. Because I've seen him defend it a lot in the past. It's one of those things, right? Like, StarCraft 2 strategies kind of happen on almost like a cycle. You can predict what strategies will likely be returning at some point in the future. And lately, double Rex proxies, very uncommon. We don't really see bunker rushes very much. It's one of those strategies that doesn't ever truly go away, right? Like, if you wanna play a double Rex proxy, you can definitely pull it off. It's not been nerfed in any way. It's just sort of fallen out of favor a little bit, and yeah, every once in a while it returns. And because you haven't played against it here as the Zerg, I guess, in a while, you don't really see it all too often. You haven't quite forgotten how to deal with it, but maybe you've just missed some of the details. Kind of expected, actually, that the previous game would go better for Solar because of it. You could see he reacted a bit differently. He sent 3 drones earlier now, and then a bunch more later on, but then he still ended up losing the exact same number. All right. Jimmy here, together with his pal, working away at the first Overlord. As a Terran player, we hate Otto. Screw this guy. Otto the Overlord is dead. Hit like and subscribe, everybody. Otto is dead. Oh, it's a triple Rex right now. Dude, ByuN is... I think ByuN is vibing here. I think this is called vibe terraning, or something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure, but... Barracks into command center into 2 additional Rex. We did get a gas, but I think the gas is just to get the tech labs going here onto 2 additional barracks. So we'll probably add 2 more Rexes, or 2 more tech labs rather, and then Stimpack combat shields, and we'll just send it again. You end up in a very similar spot as in game number 2, the one that he ultimately ended up losing. But it's a bit of a weird start, I guess, in this game, right? Solar is not really gonna expect it, and now, since he lost the very first Overlord, he's also unable to scout it. In a weird way, it's also like an anti-timing, right? Because if you want to go for a big timing attack with a lot of Marines, it makes sense that you want to stay on top of your Marine production. So lifting off with the barracks to kill the Overlord, it probably costs you about 2 Marines worth of production, maybe even more than that. So having to send it out over here maybe you don't see too much here as Solar, but you would almost assume that any sort of marine-based attack is very likely off the menu now. Because if you want to go for a marine attack, you want to do it with as many marines as possible. Lenny here, looking around for Otto. Over all the years of StarCraft, man, I think I've now successfully given a name to every unit. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. But every unit, maybe we need to move on to structure names instead. I mean, bunkers are clearly not alive. Neither are supply depots. But what about Harry? What about Harry the Hatchery? Harry, Henry, Henriette, Hank. There's a lot of names with an H. I feel like Harry the Hatch makes a lot of sense, though. Okay. +1 carapace here early on for Solar. Bailing Nest as well. So this is the Zerg player playing it safe again. Timing here on the Bailing Nest does indicate he's not going to be able to get Bailing speed done anytime soon. Zergling Scout over here does see now that there's a lot of Marines out on the map, but any Stimpack is going to be expensive. He has it right now, and would you look at that? All the Marines suddenly found a shield up their ass. No, I don't know. But they suddenly found one, and it's 10 additional health right here on all of these lads, which is not bad. Where do you think they keep the shields? It's one of the many questions we have. All right, let's see. Don't think they're really going to be able to do too much. He didn't even Stimpack here. But just the idea of Stimpack being out right now is enough for Solar to make this many units. He is gonna stim. Oh my god. ByuN. What are we doing? I guess we're just trying to trade out. Don't love it if I'm being honest with you. Usually you get medevacs, and then the medevacs on the other side of the map, they can boost through, and they can go and support these guys. It's not the end of the world. You still end up getting a good number of Zerglings and a Queen as well. But now you do get slowed down quite a bit. Solar can do whatever he likes. ByuN also hit a supply block. Pretty uncharacteristic there. But now the pressure is off of Solar for a bit, right? And Solar can do whatever he likes now for a while. +1 carapace is actually going to be phenomenal. If we have another fight, again with unupgraded Marines, +1 attack is going to be done in a moment, but it's going to look way better for the Zerg across the board. All of those Lings will just, well, be slightly more tanky. Adds up very quickly. 4th Hatchery get it added into the mix too, and Solar's actually getting rid of these rocks because he's afraid of siege tanks up on his high ground. Being able to reach them is very, very important. Okay. Queen's marching on over towards the right side. They want to try and protect the hatch. +2 armor here before +1 melee. These upgrades are all a little bit cheaper on the new patch, so you do like to see it. But yeah, the siege tank wanted to be tucked behind the rocks. Not going to happen. Still a scary attack though. Usually you do this push with 2 siege tanks. Not entirely sure why ByuN is missing a tank. Anyways, I guess maybe again he's getting a little bit carried away, a little bit tunnel visioned. Spore Crawler in the corner of the main base. Solar already anticipating the drop. Yeah, for some of these units to go around the site. The clock is ticking though on Baneling speed, right? And that's gonna make everything so much easier. There is still no 3rd command center to be seen anywhere, so all Solar really needs to do, honestly, he could give up on this base. All he really needs to do is clean up this particular attack. Oh, ByuN's going home. Really? I mean, honestly, I think you fight this. I think you attack move right now, Solar. He wants to grab the reinforcing units instead. Careful with the Banes until... Ooh, against all of those, well, expensive units to hit with Banelings. You want them to go after the Marines primarily. But yeah, I think Solar right now is pretty happy. He had an Overseer Scout in the main base. He saw, wait a second, there's no 3rd CC. So that means that this is effectively a 2-base all-in. You're on 4 bases here as the Zerg, so no reason to really make a lot of drones for that expansion. All you need to do right now is buy time and lean into this income advantage. He's getting like, he's getting 750 or so resources more per minute on average. That's just going to allow him a much bigger army as time goes on. So if we look at the army size, it's still mostly similar. So if you want to strike, right now would be the moment here for ByuN. Because the longer he waits, the worse it's going to be. Double upgrades finishing up as well here for the Zerg very soon. Hydralisk Den is done. I honestly feel like the Hydro Den is unnecessary here. Queen Ling Bane should be all you really need. Oh, he's going to go in for a counter? Why risk it, Solar? Maybe he just wanted to see if there were some more reinforcing units he could snatch. So ByuN right now is doing the thing that Terrans love to do, where he's sitting out in the middle of the map, and he's effectively telling the Zerg player to come and attack. You shouldn't attack though, dude. That's actually the worst thing you can do. Like, why engage right now off creep? There's no reason. Get the advantage of the creep. Losing a bunch of Banes like that is painful, but it's not the end of the... He just killed one of his own medevacs. Wait, what did he kill? Was that a medevac? I don't see it on the unit's lost staff, but he killed it himself, so I don't even really know how that works. Oh yeah, he just... Okay. Insubordination on the side of the Terran. Treason will be punished. I've got a feeling, though, that all of these Terran units are just about to be punished. So, ByuN is effectively going for, like, a 2-base, 200 supply army. Yeah, don't chase. There's no reason. There's zero reason to chase, unless you feel like you could just absolutely overwhelm it. And we are getting to that spot right now. Zerg did just finish up all the upgrades. Is he gonna send it? Is Solar gonna be able to maintain patience? He is not! He's gonna go ahead and send it. Does he have enough? Honestly, a risky play here, but I think he's made the correct conclusion. He knows he's been sitting on a bigger economy by far for like the last 5 minutes. Get rid of the Terran army once and for all, and I think you're likely going to get rid of the Terran player in this game as well. Zerglings don't really care much about the liberation circles. There's still no third command center. On a patch where command centers are cheaper than they ever have been, to not build command centers here is kind of crazy. You know what? Maybe ByuN has heard the fan input, right? I mean, last week, he was making so many command centers, he got carried away. Maybe he heard the argument that he made too many of them, so he's showing everybody, look, I can do 2 base all-ins. I can do 3 base all-ins. I can do 1 base all-ins. We don't need to make command centers. Why play the late game? Why even bother? Here we go again. Queens from the low ground. Yeah, there's just not enough. GG. So, that means it all comes down to this. Final game of this best of 5. We find ourselves on Rorschach LE. Zerg in the bottom right. Terran in the bottom left. Any SCVs? Nah, doesn't look like it. We're doubling up on the close-by mineral fields first. Maximizing the amount of income possible. Zerg players will do it as well. There's like 2 trains of thought, right? Like, if you force it early, Terran SCVs here are gonna try and go to the unoccupied mineral fields first. I think it's totally fine to just let the SCVs shovel, and then once they start doubling up, to make sure that you're on the close-by mineral fields. It's really not that big of a deal, but... because, of course, Zerg has to, well, not send out any drones to build an overlord, right? Like, you can just keep everybody mining. It's a little bit more simple. For Terran, you're always going to be forced to build SCVs and then send them away on tasks as well. Obviously, though, the flip side, Zerg will always consume the worker whenever you do build anything. Solar going back to good old pool first. Yeah. I can't blame him, right? So the 2 games that ByuN has won in this particular series are the 2 games where he decided to go for a double proxy Rex on the other side of the map. The 2 games that Solar won were the 2 games where he managed to let the game go on for a little bit longer. Pool first is certainly better at letting the game go on a little bit longer, and I think that's probably his main concern right now. Just try to not die. Just make sure you don't die. It's not that you can disrespect ByuN in a macro game. It's not like it's just about making it to the 10-minute mark no matter what, right? But I don't disagree here with Solar. May as well not take any chances. Command center here very early on the low ground though for ByuN. Barracks into double gas. All right. Yeah, ByuN really is just making a bunch of structures now, right? Rather than making all the mass command center styles in the early game, rather than focusing on really quick triple TC, We're not too bothered with it. Solar's gonna see. Alright. What's this? What's this? Command centers everywhere. What's this? Okay, sorry. Yeah, CC first right here on the low ground is always scary, right? Gotta respect it here as the Zerg, so he's gonna be backing off with the Overlord for at least a little bit. He pretended like he was gonna back off with the Overlord. Is this the same leveled ground here as the main base? I'm not exactly sure how it works on this map, but sometimes if you have a map like this, if you send a unit over here on the edge, you're gonna get high ground vision on something that you, well, technically need to have a flying unit for. Doesn't appear to be the case, though. I think it's just barely outside of reach. Okay, so I think as Solar here, you're already quite happy. I think in Solar's mind, all he really needs to do, quote unquote, right? All he really needs to do is defend whatever timing attack ByuN is gonna send his way. ByuN hasn't made a Hellion yet in any of these games, I don't think. Triple CC opener here in the end, though. But we are gonna be seeing some Hellions now. We'll probably even have a starport. Maybe some Banshees as well. Looks like it. Yeah, the nice thing about going for such a quick extra command center is that you really don't need a second supply depot early. So this is supply depot number 2. We've seen some high-ranking Terrans experiment with very, very delayed supply depots. So because of the cost reduction on the command center, some Terrans are even now going quadruple CC. I mean, when you think about it, right? Jimmy! Did you see that? What in the world was that? Sorry, I'm gonna have to repeat that. Jimmy just jumped on a trampoline and then somehow hovered up in the air. I don't believe that's intentional. Anyways, that's one way to get high ground vision. It might just be a graphical glitch, though. I'm assuming that's just a graphical glitch. I haven't actually seen any Terran Marine go around that side here, but that's a little bit funky. It's like a little trampoline and then a hover jet. All right. Maybe he can jump really high. I have heard that Marines have like a 5-meter vertical leap. Who knows? Oh, we're playing mech! We're playing mech! Maybe this is actually what... no, it's a different start than what Clem was doing. But this is still going to be full-on Terran mech. Very out of character to see both ByuN as well as Clem play Terran mech in the same week. Both of those guys are bio-Terrans at heart. But I mean, it worked out incredibly well for Clem. Yeah, it's a very similar approach. So we're really just going straight into Cyclone Hellion. Cyclone Hellion Banshee, full battle mech. It's very scary. Is it something that Solar is going to expect? I don't think so, because Solar, yet again, is going Baneling Nest around the same time as Lair, meaning that he will not have any form of, well, Baneling Speed done anytime soon. And really what you want here is a Roach Warren, right? Like, generally speaking, you want to play Roaches. So what Cyril ended up doing against Clem didn't end up working out for him, but he ended up going for really quick tunnel-clawed Roaches. And since Clem in that particular series had a Raven really early on, he just shut it down, man. Like, we haven't really seen Terran Mech much, and then definitely not Terran Mech with a Raven up in the air very early on, but he predicted exactly what Cyril was going to do, and Cyril effectively just got hard countered. Now, this is a different approach altogether. I mean, Lingbane does work against Terran Mech, but I think Solar just still does not know. Yeah, so he has seen only this amount of Hellions. Usually 6 Hellions is normal. He's not really too suspicious of anything just yet. Okay, now he sees Hellions 5 and 6. Yeah, still not worried. We're just going Baneling speed. Very soon, though, he will notice that there's Hellion production past this point. Man, if you can hide this for a long time, how bad is it for Zerg? He's purposefully only showing 6. I mean, there is a Ling run by at least available. No Overlords, though, on the spotter path right over here, right? He doesn't have any spotter units. Solar still does not see much, but now he realizes that something cursed is happening. Okay, so what's the reaction? I think we don't really have much of a choice. I think you have to double down the road we're already on. This is nice, though. Zergling's getting a bunch of SCV kills is really sweet. Blue Flame is done nice and early. Yeah, I think what we're going to do now is play the Battle of the Glass Cannons. We are effectively just trying to spec into full-on damage as much as possible. Hydraling Bane is not a very sustainable unit composition. Zerg would really like it if the fights that we're going to see over the next few minutes last about a quarter of a second at most. You really just want to crash the Banes into the juiciest part of this Terran army. If the fight gets stretched out, it generally means... Hey, Jimmy. 2 confirmed kills, by the way. It generally means that, yeah, Terran is at an advantage. 4th Command Center, for some reason, building on location. That's crazy greedy. Oh, Zerglings, though, are going back home because of this army in the upper right. Could have easily killed the Command Center. Here we go, though. Here we go, though. Solar's going to try and crash on top of this. Oh, I think this Terran army is stuck. Last time I checked, Terran does not have recall. And while this fight is a little bit slower than Zerg would ideally prefer, that means more shots for those Hellions. 48 Link still ended up dying. Yeah, he shuts down the army. Is he blocking his own hedge here with one of those creep tumors? Oh my god, no! Oh, that hurts. Yeah, that actually is... That's hurt. That's very painful to watch. Ugh. I knew it was going to be close. It's like watching a Protoss player build a pylon within range of a Nexus. Alright, so even though ByuN ended up losing a lot of units, I really don't mind it too much because he did also trade out very effectively, right? Plus, he got a lot of economy damage too by killing the hatchery. As a matter of fact, he's going to go up to 8 factories already. So this is very quick 8 factory. Planetary Fortress over at the 4th base as well to prevent any lings. And here's the rest of the army now showing up. Now, there's no Banshees here. So this is just pure Hellion Hellbat Cyclone. You do have to make the call to switch on over to mech with siege tanks at some point, at least usually. But, I mean, again, the new patch, it's kind of up in the air. Got ourselves a infestation pit finishing up real soon. Is it going to be for Hive, or are we going to go Swarm Hosts? I think you can't really go Swarm Host against this type of army. It's just not, yeah, very playable. Good splits over here against the Banelings. Keep in mind that Hellbats only cost minerals, Banelings are gas. So, yeah, ByuN will still be happy to trade out his mineral dump into a unit that costs gas. Now, so this is just a infestation pit to go Hive, and then a lurker den as well. Okay. ByuN is at 90 SCVs versus Solar's 78 drones. So weirdly enough, Terran is now effectively trying to Zerg the Zerg. It's a creative approach, that's for sure. He's got the faster moving army. He's got the bigger economy. He can go ahead and trade out, well, cost ineffectively right now and still come out ahead. Yeah, you do have to be careful, though, because Hydras are really, really strong here. Like, you're like 1 fungal growth away from the entire Zerg army knocking at your front door. And while he does have 8 factories, he cannot produce at the same speed as a Zerg player would. But look at him, man. He's doubling down. He's now sending the siege tanks as well. ByuN has set his sights right here on that hatchery. He wants to get the kill. Reinforcing tank is going to get surrounded. Is there enough? Yeah, Solar needs to send it, I think. He doesn't really have a choice. Overextension here from ByuN. I really don't think you have to do this. Because you don't know, man. Like, for all you really know, there could be an infestor burrowed over here with a fungal growth up your ass, right? Like, what are you going to do when you have fungal growth in your ass? That's a doctor's visit minimum. Ugh. A couple Cyclones do get caught. Playable, though. Gets the Vipe, or gets the Infestor as well. Yeah, you gotta get some anti-fungal cream or something. I don't know. Rub it all over your Cyclone. Viper here. Going to follow up the Infestor that has died. I don't really like this all too much, though, here for Solar. The problem is, right, Solar is trying to hold on. Now, usually for Zerg players, that's okay, because they have a bigger economy. But all this time, ByuN is, yeah, mining at least as much as the Zerg player is. We already have a fusion core right now added into the mix. The command center count is growing rapidly. We have an attempted hatchery at the 12 o'clock position. Okay, a lot of units do end up getting surrounded, but again, you can just remax. As long as he can make sure that Zerg does not plant lurkers right over here, like if no 20 lurkers suddenly burrow over here, I think it's going to be really bloody difficult for Solar to get back into this game. So Terran Mech is now really so strong that I'm not even really sure how you counter it here on the new patch. Like, what is your best chance? It's a bit weird because it's now a strategy that we've seen a bunch of times. I haven't seen a single Zerg player beat it reliably yet. But at the same time, we also don't see that many Terrans play the style. I don't know. Maybe they're saving it for special occasions. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's only like Christmas time, Easter. Siege tank over here in the mix as well. Lock on against lurkers? Really? This is so risky, ByuN. ByuN's playing with fire, but he does not mind it. We have additional starports now added into the mix. Advanced ballistics coming up as well. A round of missile turrets is being established around the outside. Around the outside, around the outside. And this is when Solar is going to try and strike back. Yes, ByuN has been winning this game for like the last 13 minutes. But now, we have lurkers available. Zerg is just killing a lot of the units. And while he's not going to unload the Nidus inside of the main base yet, he does push this Terran army all the way across. And this is probably the scariest part in this game right now as the Terran, because you have given away too many of your tanks. Normally you have a tank backbone. Normally you have some liberators up in the air as well. Solar is going to be able to very, very quickly reinforce. Siege tank here getting healed up. Does take a little while, but... High running Bane, man. It's a scary unit comp. He's actually late with the dash ability. There are 6 lurkers out. Without Fungal, I don't think you're really going to be able to catch the Cyclones. Yeah, lurkers are up over here on the high ground. Careful, ByuN. Cannot walk through that. Planetary in the choke point. It's a badass name for a band. Planetary in the choke point. I would buy a shirt. Anyways. Yeah, without spellcasters, I don't think Solar can really achieve too much. Like, he would like to overwhelm Terran, but I think ByuN is stable enough here. And now ByuN is getting the Liberators and the Siege tanks out, right? So that was a vulnerability right there that I think ByuN is now permanently closed. What you can do as well as Terran at this point is make the transition on over towards Ghost Mech. I'm not really sure how viable that style is, but Ghost Mech used to be the ultimate death ball for Terran. It's basically the same units that he's got right now, but then on top of it, you also add spellcasters. Very good, very difficult to micro. And oftentimes unnecessary. Liberators have snuck around the sites. Likewise, we also have a lurker that snuck around the sites, but I think the Liberators can definitely get out if they want to. Maybe they choose not to. Oh, Hydra's just dashing through. Alright, lurker is likely going to get sniped here, but a lot of lost mining time for both players, which again, will of course benefit the player with more economy. Liberator count is not even as high as you would expect it, actually. He's been pumping them out for a while. Only 3 of them have died. They're just expensive and they take a while to produce. What ByuN is doing very nicely now, though, is that he's playing this, like, middle-of-the-road approach, right? He's going both mass command centers, and he's making a lot of army. Like, he's not really committing to one of the two. Usually with Terran Mech, you have to choose, but ByuN is getting both a huge economy and a huge army. He's denying the 12 o'clock base. This expansion over here should be an easy one as well for him to acquire. There's not a whole lot that Zerg can do against it. Scan to get rid of whatever. Is he here to trade these units out, or does he want to lose them? Because I think we have overcome the age of the Cyclone now. Yeah, thank you, lads, for your service. It's been nice. Thank you for helping out. Oh, actually, no, we're still making some more. Yeah, you do want to have at least a little bit of a backbone, but the majority of the supply right now is in these heavy hitters. And what in the world is Solar going to do against it? I feel like Solar against this needs like 12 Vipers, right? Like, everything here is abductable. Vipers are good against all of these units, but he can't possibly afford it. ByuN is making a few command centers, by the way. Yeah, there's some Vipers, okay. But there's planetaries left, right, and center. Siege tanks up on the high ground as well to anchor this defense. And at this point, we're up to 9 orbitals, 4 planetaries, 3 more command centers that are in production. Does he have any command centers that don't yet have a hat? No, it doesn't look like it. But this is only the beginning, man. He's going to be making a lot more. ByuN's main goal now is to just try and slowly suffocate the Zerg. And this is all going according to plan, but you do still have to be careful. You don't want to get complacent here as the Terran, because Zerg can remax so quickly. Still, though, Solar is struggling just maxing out one time around. And he is... And that's my main concern here for the Zerg player, right? Like, he's focused on a unit composition that requires constantly replenishing, right? Like, you need to have, preferably, like 90 to 100 workers even, with this sort of style. If you want to play pure Hydroling Bane with a couple spellcasters, you want to be able to remax. But he is on 67 workers. That's nice for Gen Alpha, but not so nice here for the Zerg. ByuN's still at a very high worker count. Yeah, he'll be happy to trade this. It's so weird, because normally you would not want to trade this here as the Terran. But he knows that he is slowly breaking through. Liberators in the meantime, sniping a bunch of the lurkers over here, because we have so many orbitals up in the air right here. We're gonna be able to snipe all of those easy peasy. Hatchery still not available at the 12 o'clock position, and while this base may survive for now, I still don't mind this, man. Even if Solar cleans this up. Blinding Cloud? Alright. I think that was a misclick. Yeah, even if Solar does clean this up, Solar is gonna face a maxed out army again by the time he gets across. I think this hatchery is effectively dead. If the Liberators just sneeze on it once, that hatchery is gone. 12 o'clock base is ambitious, man. There's nothing connecting here. There's no creep, no static defense, no nothing. The only thing that's keeping that alive right now is the fact that ByuN is not moving in that direction. Yet. I think ByuN is going to kill this hatchery. Maybe? Maybe not. And he'll be setting his sights on that base up north in just a moment. Solar's still getting a ton of value, though. But look at the supply count now. And keep in mind that the banks don't really reflect this game very accurately at all, because ByuN has so much money caught up in infrastructure. This was Terran ready to play a 45-minute banger, but then the Zerg player accidentally died. Phenomenal game. I really like this mech style. I really think we need to be seeing it more. If you're a Terran on the ladder and you struggle in this matchup, I think you got to play some mech. GG.